Hello, Guardians, and welcome to another episode of Legends of Destiny Tower Talk. My name is Chris, aka Big C. So, we have now seen all three of Bungie's live streams involving the spring content updates. Now, of course, Destiny has been in quite a slow period lately. Nothing really has come out since the Crimson Days event, which happened in February. Here it is, the beginning of, well, almost middle of April. We're finally gonna get content. Finally. So here's a brief recap of what's going on, for those who have not been paying attention, as well as I'll share my thoughts on everything that's going on. First of all, light level has been increased to 335, and there are multiple ways to hit that light level cap. Before, you pretty much were restricted to the King's Fall raid, Trials of Osiris, and then if you were lucky, you might get a high-end drop from Iron Banner, but that was few and far between. Now, you can hit 335 by doing Prison of Elders, which we'll talk about in a little bit, Crucible, Iron Banner, King's Fall Hard Mode raid, and you can get artifacts from the Court of Oryx. So there are lots of different ways that you can hit 335, not just one. That's exciting. So you'll have plenty of different opportunities to get some high-end drops. So that's always great. Speaking of Prison of Elders, it is making a triumphant return to Destiny in year 2. There are going to be two different game modes that are going to be available for the Prison of Elders. The first is going to be a level 41 Prison of Elders. This is going to be set up very similar to the existing Prison of Elders from House of Wolves. The main differences are there are now going to be taken variants on different rooms, as well as possible taken bosses. So it's going to be more challenging, and of course all the difficulty has been upscaled to level 41. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge even for high-end Guardians who've been playing Destiny for a while. One very nice perk that they had announced during one of the streams is you will no longer need to farm treasure keys. Whenever you complete Prison of Elders, you can always open the big chest at the end. That's great. That's an awesome change. And you can get some pretty good loot there. In addition to that, there's going to be a new game mode called Challenge of the Elders. This is kind of the PvE equivalent to Trials of Osiris. You have to buy a card from Varix in the Reef for 100 Glimmer, so similar to the Trials card, although honestly it's cheaper. And then using that card, you're going to go into the Challenge of the Elders, which is a level 42 mission, and you're going to do boss fights. There are 3 rounds of boss fights. And during those boss fights, you have like almost a constant non-stop run of ads. In addition to that, you're going to have a boss to fight, and each has kind of unique mechanics as to how you defeat those bosses. Your scorecard is going to be what's going to give you loot. So when you are fighting a boss, each group is going to be judged on how many points they can get as a group. If your group can obtain 30,000 points in a single session, that's going to net you a weapon that can be up to 335 light. And there's a whole list of brand new Queen's weapons that you can obtain that are exclusive to year 2. So that's pretty cool. If you can get 90,000 cumulatively for the week, so that's if you play with multiple groups, and you can play it multiple times throughout the week, you can obtain a piece of armor that can also hit up to 335 light. So 2 different ways to get gear, pretty high-end gear at that. Now you can only get them once per week. We're assuming per character and not per account. So if you have multiple characters, that's quite a grind to try to get all of that gear each week. But hey, I mean, we're Destiny players. We're used to grinding, so that's one way to do it. So that's Prison of Elders, brand new stuff, pretty exciting. In addition to that, the King's Fall raid light levels are going to be increased. So normal mode is going to be increased to 320. So normal mode will be able to drop 320 gear. And they didn't clarify this entirely, but I'm assuming if you do the challenge mode, for normal mode, it will drop 320 light gear guaranteed. For hard mode, they're upping the light level to 330 when the patch goes live on the 12th. But later on with a hotfix, they are going to increase the light level drops to 335. So you can get up to 335 gear from doing King's Fall. And I'm assuming, again, after the hotfix, when you do challenge mode, you'll probably get guaranteed 335 gear, which is nice. So that's great. And then, like I mentioned before, they're going to be increasing the light level drops for for Trials of Osiris, Crucible, and Iron Banner. So there are multiple ways to get to 335, which is awesome. Speaking of gear, there's a whole bunch of different gear that they're introducing. For starters, they're bringing back 5 Year 1 exotics that have not made the cut yet for Year 2. Of course, the guns that everyone kind of expected to be left off the list were left off the list. So Thorn, Icebreaker, Galahorn, not back yet. Who knows if they're going to be back. The kind of question mark one was Pocket Infinity was left off the list. No idea why, but oh well, poor Pocket Infinity. What is coming back? All 3 of the Prison of Elders exotics. So Drake's Promise, the Queensbreaker Bow, and the Lord of Wolves shotgun are all coming back to Year 2, as well as Patience in Time and Universal Remote. So all 5 of those exotics are coming back. There is a new PlayStation exclusive exotic, which, as a primarily Xbox player, hurts. Why do you burn us so, Bungie? Why? That's a topic for another day, but I'm not happy about the fact that there's another exotic that is exclusive to PlayStation. Unnecessarily. Thanks. In addition to all the guns, there's also going to be bringing back all the remaining armor from Year 1, so if there are any armor pieces left from Year 1 that you did not obtain that were exotic, you will be able to obtain them after the April 12th patch. So that's exciting. In addition to that, they're also going to be bringing back a select number of fan-favorite Year 1 legendary weapons. The only way to obtain these legendary weapons is through Vanguard and Crucible packages. So you have to level up your Vanguard, level up Crucible. In addition to that, they are increasing the amount of reputation you gain for Prison of Elders, for the Queen's Wrath, as well as Crucible, Vanguard, and your faction. There are also going to be brand new sets of armor that can be obtained from very specific places. So first off, each faction has their own set of armor, which is pretty awesome. And each one has unique looks to them. One of the things that makes the faction armor interesting, as well as another set of armor that we'll talk about in a second, is that they have a new system called Chroma. What this is, it basically gives your armor a kind of cool light effect, so it can glow a certain color. Chroma comes in 4 colors, 4, blue, red, yellow, and white. Chroma can be obtained a couple different ways. If you dismantle a piece of Chroma-enabled armor, or from sterling treasure boxes, which I will talk about in a little bit. The faction armor is Chroma compatible, and you can only get the faction armor, of course, from faction packages. You will not be able to buy them. You can only obtain them from the package. There's also another set of armor that is going to be obtainable through the sterling treasure boxes, which is going to be Chroma compatible as well. Speaking of sterling treasure boxes, these are going to be obtained 4 different ways. You can get one from the Prison of Elders for level 41, so not challenge, this is just regular Prison of Elders. If you complete it, you get one. You can get one from completing the weekly Crucible game type. So whatever it is, you play one match, you get one. You're also going to get one every week from your postmaster. So you don't have to do anything, and you will automatically get a Sterling Treasure Box. So that's kind of a nice little gift from Bungie. The fourth way, which is a little controversial, is through the Eververse Trading Company. So you can actually buy them for real world money. And in that Sterling Treasure Box, you can get 2 different sets of armor. There's one set that is chroma compatible that looks really cool. There is a set of Taken armor that makes your Guardian look Taken, which is pretty fantastic. You can also get chroma. There are Taken ships. There's quite a few interesting things that are going to be available in those Sterling Treasure boxes. So that's pretty cool, and another thing for you to chase in addition to everything else that's going on. So that's pretty awesome. Speaking of Eververse, there are going to be some new emotes that are going to be debuting, including the Shia LaBeouf Just Do It, and the What Is Love head bob from Night at the Roxbury, as well as a few other things. So if you enjoy hilarious emotes, be sure to check out the Eververse, in addition to the fact that you can buy Sterling Treasure boxes. So in addition to all of that, and that's a lot of content, there are also going to be a new quest line, a new story mission, and 2 sort of new strikes. One is going to be an updated version of the Winter's Run strike, which is from year 1. The only difference is, unlike a lot of the other updates where they have Taken variants where the Taken take over, but the boss is pretty much the same, this one is going to have a new Taken version of the Archon Priest. And they have confirmed that you can get a Taken shotgun, which is a strike exclusive weapon from the Winter's Run strike. So that's pretty awesome. In addition to that, there is going to be a brand new strike where you fight a new Taken boss. So this is brand new, never been played, never been seen. We don't know specifically what the strike exclusive item is, although what is heavily hinted is they did show off a Taken sword. That might be it. We don't know how you obtain the Taken sword because they never really announced it, but I think that's probably a safe bet. You can get a Taken sword from that strike. So that's a lot of content. A lot of interesting stuff. Now, today's stream was less about the content coming and more about changes to the world of Destiny. So for starters, they announced that they're going to once again severely buff how often legendary weapons drop in the Crucible. That's fine and dandy, except that doesn't always happen. And they've said that before, and it didn't necessarily work. They've also said they've buffed Nightfall rewards before, and that didn't work really either. They said they're doing that again. I'll believe it when I see it. But I'm really tired of doing Nightfalls and getting 297 ghosts. Shame, Bungie. Shame. The other things that they talked about were weapon balancing. And of course, as everyone kind of expected, all the super OP gear kind of got nerfed. So Mida Multi-Tool got a nerf where they actually are removing a perk. The armor-piercing rounds are being removed and replaced with a different perk. So that's going to hurt the Mida Multi-Tool a little bit. They're also nerfing high rate of fire auto rifles, like the Doctrine of Passing, primarily the Doctrine of Passing, so that there's more damage fall off, so you can't kill somebody from quite as far distance. They are buffing hand cannons, so those are going to get a little bit of a stability upgrade, as well as bigger or larger amount of rounds in the magazine, not in the magazine, in reserve. So you won't have more bullets to use right away, but you have more bullets in reserve to reload. So that's going to help hand cannons a lot. They really did need a buff. They're doing some minor tweaking to lower rate of fire auto rifles. Those are getting a buff, as well as lower rate of fire pulse rifles are also getting a buff. There's a whole bunch of specific weapon changes. I'm not going to go into a ton of them. In terms of exotic weapons, they are buffing the Suros regime, which is a slower rate of fire auto rifle, so that's going to get a little bit of a boost. They're changing Thorn. They didn't really say what they're doing to it, but apparently it's going to be a little bit different. Icebreaker is going to be changing a little bit. They're not going to increase the damage much because it's still a year 1 weapon. Same with Thorn. So that's an interesting thing. They're also doing some changes regarding Warlocks. They are... I'm trying to remember everything. There's a lot of stuff to go over. Sorry if I feel like I'm rambling. For starters, Stormcaller, Stormtrance's duration is going to be lowered, which was kind of expected, not really surprising. They didn't do much to Sunsinger Warlocks, which is good. I feel they shouldn't have, because Sunsingers are kind of how they're designed to be, so they shouldn't really be touched. There's a lot of talk of them trying to nerf the grenades for Sunsinger Warlocks, which I think is a bad idea, and I'm glad they did not do that. And I main a hunter, so I'm not saying that because I'm an avid Warlock defender. I like my Warlock. I've been playing my Warlock a lot more lately, but I am a hunter through and through. So, you know. There's that. A couple other changes that are going to be kind of interesting to the game world. Heavy ammo and special ammo are going to be very much different after the patch. For starters, you will now spawn with special ammo, but a special ammo box is not going to spawn until 2 minutes into the match. So you're going to get a lot less special ammo. So if you're somebody who loves to go out with a shotgun or with a sniper rifle and go crazy, you might want to hold off just because you're not going to have a lot of reserve ammo. In addition to that, heavy ammo is now only going to spawn once per match. About 5 minutes into the match, heavy weapon ammo will spawn, and it will not spawn again. So if you're a huge fan of pulling out rocket launchers or machine guns and using them to your heart's content, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. In addition to that, they're also changing how resurrection works in elimination game types. So basically they're going to try to make you dying a bit more punishing. So if you die, they are increasing the respawn or the revival counter by 2 seconds, and every death after that they increase it even more. So it's going to be a lot harder if you're playing something like Trials of Osiris. You get killed, it's going to be harder for your teammates to revive you in time. You can't just do a quick revive. It's going to take a bit longer. I'm not a huge fan of that change. I don't think that was necessary, and plus, that's just going to make people who like res sniping, which is where you basically just camp on somebody's orb, and as soon as they respawn, you headshot them with a high-impact sniper rifle like the 1,000-yard stare. That's just going to make that even worse. But, I mean, the rest of the changes I don't think are that bad. And if it makes the game more balanced, I'm all for it. So it'll be interesting to see how those changes go. They're also lowering the amount of reserve ammo you have for sniper rifles and for heavy machine guns. Specifically the Quillam's Terminus and the 1,000-yard stare. So you'll have less ammo to work with, which is going to suck for PvE players because we need that ammo. But PvP, I mean, you know, kind of what you expect. So that's a nice, generous recap of everything that is going on for the spring update in Destiny. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed everything that I said and everything that I like to talk about, please be sure to hit that subscribe button to BigCTV on YouTube, where I talk about Destiny, The Division, all kinds of other stuff. So the more the merrier in terms of checking out my videos, and hopefully you enjoy my work. On April 12th, I will be live streaming a lot of Destiny and a lot of the new content on the BigCTV Twitch channel. So if you want to check out the new content as it is released, go to BigCTV on Twitch. You'll be able to check that out. We'll also stream the Division Incursions that same day as well. You can also look forward to Quantum Break gameplay coming later this week. So lots to see and lots to do on gaming front. But anyway, Guardians, thank you for watching my recap and thoughts about all the stuff coming to the April update. If you can't tell, I'm very excited. I love Destiny to my core. It is definitely my favorite game that has come out in a very long time. I have put well over 1,000 hours into it. And I was getting a little burnt out because there was nothing coming out. Now we finally have a good amount of stuff to do, and it's going to keep me playing this game for a while, and I'm very excited to really jump back in and actually progress once again. So thank you for watching this episode of Legends of Destiny Tower Talk. See you next time, Guardians.